Hello and welcome to Spiritual Fertility. I am your host, Alison Bucklin, and I am so excited for this episode because I'm with my growth buddy, and she was the first guest on Spiritual Fertility, the podcast, Danielle Adams. And we are excited because I have been working with Danielle for like almost 4 years now in doing healing sessions on a continual basis at that time or during that time. And she has provided me with lots of insights along my journey in life and spirituality and in growth and my path ahead. And she's aided me so much. And we thought it would be fun to hit record and not only share Danielle's process for how she goes about doing one of her healing sessions and oracle card readings, but also to just kind of get a glimpse into us and how we communicate with each other and the characters that are involved in both of our lives that come through our sessions. We were giggling beforehand and as we were talking about this, but the intention that we have for this episode to come through is that of clarity. And before Danielle did my session, she and I communicated and spoke about what kind of questions I had or what's on my mind or what I would like to know about for the session, kind of to prepare for and guide her in the work that she does. And what came through was really clarity for all areas of life, and it can be career and finances and health and spirituality and mindset and all of the areas and key areas of our lives that we are impacted with questions that we have or our path and what we do to create that balance and that purpose for us. And it's exciting. So I am going to let Danielle share about her process and what she does, and then we will get into my clarity that will come through with this particular session. So Danielle, why don't you take an opportunity to just remind our listeners, who you are and what you do, and then what your process is for these healing sessions. I've been so blessed to be able to work with you for the last 4 years and have this guidance that comes together. So I'm excited to have you back.
Well, thank you. I'm excited for this. I've been looking forward to this. So thank you for having me. So I'm a Reiki practitioner. It's hard for me to label what I do because it's kind of hard to describe it. I'm a Reiki practitioner and spiritual guide, also a certified UMAP coach, and I take all of that and provide uh, healing. It's so broad. But Reiki is life force energy that is channeled and through me to you. And in this case, Allison and I are doing this by distance, but this can be done in person. And it just helps move stagnant energy out and provide a peaceful environment, relaxation, stress release, better sleep. And as a result of that, people find physical healing, emotional healing, mental healing, getting answers because that stagnant energy is being moved through. So that's what I do. That was when I do a Reiki and a reading session like we've done today, I do that first. So it's about 30 minutes of me tapping into Allison's energy, doing a chakra scan and kind of just communicating with her higher self, seeing where her energy is. And a lot of it is even physical sensations for me. So, like, if I start feeling anxious, I know she's been experiencing the anxiety. Like, if my stomach starts hurting, there's something going on with her digestive. So, the way that it comes through is different every time, but it's always something. And then I do a card reading to help kind of bring it all together and get any more messages that would apply to whatever the situation is. So in your case for around clarity, every person's intention and every situation coming in is a little bit different. But I loved having the conversation with you before I did the session today because we've been doing this for so long. I feel like the connection is just so easy. Like I kind of just close my eyes, tap in, and like, boom, I'm connected with you. Where with other clients, it takes a little bit. Like I have to get centered. Both of my feet have to be on the ground. My back has to be straight. I have to be breathing a certain way. And then I can. So with you, it was really easy. We were talking today and you just said like two or three things. I was like, no, 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 it's your solar plexus. Like that's what we need to work on. So before I even started with you, I knew we weren't doing a full chakra thing. I was gonna focus on that one chakra with you today. Um, so even beforehand, even before the session starts, uh, things will start coming through. It's like because the universe knows we're going to be connecting today. So here's some little foreshadowing for you.
Yeah, that's cool. And, just to give some context, I spoke with Danielle about thoughts that I've been having related to self image, body image, comparison, things that have reoccurred, have been kind of reoccurring themes in my life. Also, had some questions about career and relationships. I mean, it was just kind of all that to give some context for it. And then, so that triggered her feeling something in my solar plexus, right? in
Mhm.
in in feeling that. So I'm awesome, I'm glad that you shared that. Now, typically in your sessions you will do a healing session, and then you will record a video for your client with the card reading. Danielle already did my healing session, and she has a video that she's going to send me. We've saved the card reading to be live as we're recording this. But if you could start and maybe just give a synopsis on what came up in my healing session and
Mhm.
go through your process, girlfriend, and let's see what unfolds.
Absolutely. So, to start, you're in the beginning of your session. So, just to give a little bit of background, because like I said, Allison and I have been working together for years. So there are characters. We're not kidding. There are characters with names that come into play. So like her ego is like this cute little cartoon character for me. She has a healing guide. We all have healing guides, but her healing guide is it's a little bit pushy, and he's in every one of her sessions lately. And he came through loud and clear. So I'm going to refer to somebody named Neil as we're talking. That's who I'm talking about. Allison already knows this. So Neil was coming through loud and clear. So you had asked for clarity. I had, before your session even started, I was kind of like pacing the floor behind me. And because Neil kept saying, walk with me, talk with me, walk with me, talk with me. So I'm like pacing and I'm like, I am walking with you and I am talking with you. Like, we're walking, we're talking, what's going on? And he just kept saying over and over again, walk with me, talk with me, walk with. I'm like, oh, this is the message for Allison. You're not telling me to walk with you, talk with you. So when you go for your walks, because you just about every day you go for a walk, instead of using, originally the message was connect with spirit on your walks. Then Neil came through loud and clear, walk with me, talk with me. Once I understood that was a message for you and not for me, he was very clear about leave the earbuds at home once or twice a week. Don't listen to anything, don't talk on the phone, in silence. It's going to be a combination of your mind being present, you being surrounded by nature in fresh air, with the physical movement and silence, no, not consuming any information to distract your mind. That will create an environment where Neil will be able to come in and have a conversation with you, and you're going to be able to hear him clearly. You're going to know you're talking to Neil. So I do go over this in your video a little bit more. You've had conversations with spirit guides through meditations, and you're also Reiki certified. Like you've had these experiences before. But just for clarity, on these walks, when, let's just say the conversation is like, so what are you going to do? That's him, because he's referring to you as you. If it's, what am I going to do? That's you. That's not him, because you're referring to yourself as I. So you'll notice there's going to be, it's very subtle when you're having a back and forth conversation, but the side that it's going to feel like it's you. So there's not like, oh, well, I could feel like that wasn't me talking. It feels like you. So you have to pay attention to how that voice is referring to you. Is it me or is it you? And that's how you're going to, in the beginning, the subtle messages that come through, that's how you're going to know if it's just one of your own thoughts or was that Neil. So, um, then something came. Oh, he also recommends yoga once or twice a week. Nothing crazy. Like it doesn't have to be hot yoga. It doesn't have to be a particular series of this pose into that pose into this pose. Like do whatever you want. Have fun with it, but take 15 minutes a day, twice a week, and just do some yoga. This is just going to help move some of that stagnant energy that's kind of in the corners and crevices of your body that aren't getting moved around. The yoga poses are going to help to kind of just get that flow. Um, you should always, always, always drink a lot of water after a Reiki session because you kind of want to flush all of the stagnant energy and the gunk, I call it, that we're picking up from the corners and just the energy that anything we want to let go of. So we want to drink a lot of water. I very rarely remind you of this, Allison, but this particular time, you're going to drink more water. Like you should be peeing so much, you're questioning if you're in the third trimester of a pregnancy. Like that kind of drinking water. And lemon water. Number one, because of the yellow, the lemon, the solar plexus, that connection. So every day, also because it helps to flush toxins out and stuff like that, this is going to help to push everything through. Um, and then waiting. We're back to Neil. Neil goes waiting to see, waiting for what? Waiting to see what? If she knows what she wants, she just has to ask for it. So that's a conversation you can continue with him on your own. I think that you know that this is, I don't know specifically what this is referring to. I have a feeling that I know what area of your life this might pertain to, but as soon as I said it, you knew what I was talking about. So that's it. Don't go back and forth and allow yourself to question that. Whatever it is that you think I'm talking about is what I'm talking about, regardless of what I think it is. That's a conversation you need to continue to have with Neil because there was this whole like argument. Uncle Frank was here, and Uncle Frank was talking to the lady that he's always with, and he wants to tell you something, and she's arguing with him that you're not supposed to tell them, like you're not supposed to tell the people living in the 3D like their future. You need to let it play out. You can't just tell her that. And Neil was like standing there like this, going, just don't tell her that. Please don't, because the next little while is the way it's going to play out. There are choices that you need to make and a path that you're going to end up on. We just tell you what that path is. You're just going to head right to that path. You're not going to make the choices and go through the process of it. Neil needs you to go through the process of it for multiple reasons. Number one, you're more clairvoyant than you allow yourself to be. Part of the next couple of months and you making these decisions and not knowing the path is going to help you to find out these things about yourself and validate things you already know. So it's hard for me to explain. Do you understand what I mean when I say that? Okay. So it's going to be like validation points. So you'll have made a decision about something and it will be in hindsight, you're going to look back and be like, okay, so that was that lesson coming full circle. Now I can see that and be like, wow, I'm going to pat myself on the back for taking the path that I know in my heart I should be or would want to be to stay in alignment. So you are going to be validated through these steps. And these decisions that you make is more about in the 3D, making these choices and these decisions to keep yourself in alignment. And Frank telling you where you're going to go, yeah, you're going to be in alignment, but it kind of takes the fun out of it for Neil, and it takes the lessons out of it for you. So it just, the projection of it, those lessons you're going to need in the future. Um, it's not the destination, it's not the destination, it's the journey. Like that's one of these lessons. Like we all know where you're going except for you, but we can't tell you because it's not about where you're going, it's about how you get there. So that's the lesson. A couple of songs, so really heavy on the quiet. Um, a lot of silence. So the songs that came in was at first Neil recommended the lack of consuming anything through your ear holes while you're walking so that he can connect with you. So that was the first bit of silence. And like not like sound healing, no words, like not even like just classical music, like silence. It was also recommended that besides on the walk, that you take more quiet time. So in your line of work, being in a pre-K classroom all day long, there are very few opportunities for peace and quiet, let's be honest. Then you come home to your family and you have a 10-year-old daughter. There's little opportunity for quiet. Like it doesn't occur naturally in your day-to-day life. So your focus for the next few weeks is going to be find those pockets of your day where you can deliberately be in silence. Whether that means meditating, just sitting in the car, it doesn't have to be doing anything. The only goal is silence. So that you don't have to meditate, you don't have to do anything, just in silence. So the songs, the reason why this was so loud and clear about silence, the song, The Sounds of Silence, was playing while another song chimes in and starts playing, and the lyrics were turn the quiet up, turn the noise down, while the sound of silence. And I'm like, okay, I get it. She needs some quiet. Um, that, and then your daily angel cards. Well, I say daily, your angel card readings. Are you still doing daily card pulls for yourself?
No.
Okay, start doing that again.
Okay.
Neil told on you. Um, but he wants you to start doing that. So the whole intention behind this was clarity, was gaining clarity, right? So this is not going to be one of those sessions where I provide the clarity for you. This is one of those sessions where I give you a list of things to do. And by doing these things, the clarity is going to come through for you. Um,
I
and one
love
of those was the angel cards.
I love when you give me a list of things to do. I'm a good
Yay.
follower of your
And
advice.
just for the record, it's not my list, it's Neil's list. I can't
Sure,
take full
sure,
credit for it.
sure. You're the channel through which this message is delivered. Okay.
Yeah, so don't kill the messenger. If there's anything on this list you don't like if my healer told me I needed to do yoga this week, I might have accidentally gotten disconnected because I hate yoga. So I'd be like, no, 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 no. So just don't kill the messenger. That's all. Um, the solar plexus. So when I went in, I went straight to your solar plexus. And so it's a ball, right? Like this. Well, not really like this, but it's a ball. The outer layer of the ball of light was kind of dim, but then as it went in, the center of it got brighter. So what that told me was the work that you need to do on the solar plexus, the image stuff, the body issues, the all of that is very surface level stuff. None of this goes too deep. So we're not talking about any like major inner child healing or anything like that. Like the work that you need to be doing is really super surface level. So don't become too intense about it. Don't like plan out your outfits and every day this week you're wearing yellow and you're only eating yellow food and you're listening to these sound healing things at night and like that you're doing this through all of your senses and you're going for walks every day in silence because you need to heal what Neil has. Like, don't become obsessed. Like your solar plexus is not in bad shape, really super surface level type stuff. Um, so the cool part, what I was saying, I wish you were here with me so I could describe it to you. When so we sent the Reiki energy down through your crown chakra and it shot straight through and hovered around your solar plexus. You know, when you go to like an electronics store or like one of those like gift shops, like with cool and funky toys, they have those like globes and it's like encapsulated in glass and there's a lightning bolt inside. It looks like electricity. And then when you touch it, it like connects to your finger and like wherever you move it and it makes all these. So that's what your solar plexus was doing. It was so freaking cool. So it's like this, and then the Reiki energy shoots down, and all of a sudden it becomes like encapsulated in that glass, and it becomes like one of these electric. I have a cat walking in front of me right now. If you can tell. Hi, Willow. So, um, it was like that. It was like one of those like lightning, and it was just like doing its thing. So I left that with your chakras just to continue working and doing its thing. So that's why I say a lot of lemon water, because it's like moving through your chakras. I could feel like just all of this energy pushing. So you definitely want to push it out of you because we've been working on your root. Your root kind of comes and goes into from like really great shape to like, oh, we're getting a little wonky again, to like really great shape again. If you don't drink a lot of water and we don't push this out of your system, it's going to settle in your root. And then for the next 3 sessions, all we're going to be working on is root chakra. And it's going to be like, why are we back to the core issue? Like it won't make sense. Also, there was something else I just wanted to say there. So the solar plexus and then the root, and in between that is your sacral. So your sacral chakra is in decent shape right now, but because your root is not always in the best shape, right now your solar plexus is a little bit wonky. Your sacral is taking the brunt of all of it. So you're also going to kind of lean into anything that so like if you have a choice between choosing something red or orange this week, you're going to choose orange. We're going to lean into like the yellows and the oranges, the stuff that you know you can do that will help to heal your sacral as well. So even though the focus is on the solar plexus, we do want to support. So we're going to focus on the solar plexus while supporting the sacral this week and for the next real 2 weeks as much as you can. Oh, and clears. So this word, the reason I say you're more clairvoyant than you allow yourself to be um, is because Neil said it, not because I said it. Neil said it, but he kept saying the word clear. It's gonna clear. But then the more he would say it, he kind of like put this accent, like almost like a Southern accent on it, where it almost sounded like he was saying Claire instead of clear. So he went from it's gonna clear, clears, clears, clairs, clairs, clairs. And he just kept saying it. And this is like the thing he does. He just keeps repeating the same thing over and over again until I understand it. He doesn't actually clarify anything. So it's really funny that your intention for this week was to gain clarity, because Neil is the least clear entity I have ever dealt with in my life. Just saying. So Neil moved it to Claire's. And then I was like, Claire, is she going to get clear on her Claire's? Claire's or clear Claire's? And I'm like, she's more clairvoyant than she allows. And he was like, yes. So I was like, see, we're learning. I'm learning how to communicate with him. It's getting easier. So that was how your session, that was everything from your session itself.
Cool. Thank you. There is some things that I want to comment on. First off, I appreciate the advice, Neil, that came through to be quiet on my walks in the morning, because I do tend to listen to positive self-talk, or if I have my earbuds in and I'm like binge watching something, or it's not like focused on being quiet and enjoying the nature around me and walking to work. So that's a great intention that I'll be mindful of to do moving forward. So I appreciate that, Neil. It's funny you talk about Claire's. I just last week took some quiz online that came through from Rebecca Campbell to reveal like your strongest Claire. So that's pretty funny. Cognizance is what came up as my my clair that is the strongest, which is a clear knowing. There's
Yes.
not always proof for things of that, but I just
I was
know.
just going to say that one's the hardest one to pinpoint. And that's the one that makes you feel like you're most crazy because there's nothing tangible. There's nothing you can describe. It's like, well, I just know it. Well, how do you, but I just know it. There was no information that came in. There was no event. It was just, I just know it. And that's the hardest one to like really accept. And that might be, that's funny that you are more clairvoyant than you allow. And it's really be through acceptance. And your strongest clair is the hardest one to accept.
Yeah, so it comes full circle, certainly. So, yeah, you're spot on with that. And advice, yes, and I know what you were talking about with um, don't wait, and keep just what are you waiting for? So that came through clear. But yeah, I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to watching the video, the live video that you did. But definitely a lot of things that came through to me that what happens is when I do these sessions with Danielle and she sends me the video, I will listen to it once and then I will listen and take notes because there's things that you forget that come up. So I look forward to, listening and taking notes and, drinking the lemon water and being more intentional about that and just making sure. I mean, that goes to clarity with regards to the aspect of health, which then ties into, you know, image. And I appreciate the surface level because clarifying that for me, because we can tend to think, when you're in a healing journey, I mean, I can continue to go deep, deep, deep. Oh, it must be something deep, but it doesn't always have to be something deep because we go through and we these things come up that we need to learn lessons from and clear. And it doesn't mean that they're going to keep coming up over and over and over again, right? They may for different aspects until we learn the lesson, of course, but that information just helps reassure me moving forward. I'm like, okay, now I know what I need to do and what I need to stop doing as far as that goes and that message goes. So I appreciate all of that.
Right. And then it's also one of those things like you're here, you know how this feels right now, and you're aware of it. So here's a list of things that you can do to help work on that and to help you feel better. And then you just like store that away in your back pocket because these are like emotional highs and lows, the mental, like this isn't anything like major that happened. This is something what you're going through, what you've been feeling lately is something that we all go through at some point or another at some level, maybe not in the exact same way. But then when we learn how the best way for to work through it ourselves, and then you store that information away in your back pocket because the next time it happens, because it will happen next time, and again, it won't be super intense. You now have like, okay, well, this worked the last time, so let's do this and let's move through this and get on with my life. It doesn't become this major ordeal.
Yeah. And that's fun. That's the fun part about it, right? That's
Yeah.
the growth, right? And the evolution. And so now you typically go into your cards. So let's jump into what gets revealed there.
So usually first I pull an affirmation and you pick the number 1 through I want to say 64. Yeah, 1 through 64. And you chose number 7 today. So let's do the affirmation first. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is super simple. You pick the number and then I pick up the deck of cards and you chose the number 7, so I picked the 7th card. Like that's what I mean about picking the number for anybody that was wondering. That simple. So, so today I am flexible. Today I will adapt to changes in my life with an open mind and a positive outlook. Again, like I feel like this is kind of like light. Your sessions lately have been light, and not as in like they're not all like light and airy and fun and la la la. I mean light as in not intense. And this is the same way. So it's not like, Allison, you have to be flexible. It's more like today I'm flexible. It's kind of like a light kind of feeling. I adapt to the changes in my life with an open mind and positive outlook. So I say that to you. It doesn't mean that there's a major change coming. I'm not feeling a major change coming. This is just very, again, surface level, just day to day. Be open and willing to adapt. So that might mean I'm willing to adapt to changes. One of the changes is you're going to be getting 15 minutes of silence a day. And now you have to adapt and work 15 minutes of silence into your day. Like that could be as simple as that. So this was the card reading because I haven't pulled tarot cards yet. This was just what you need to know. That was the question. So what you need to
Yes.
know, again, reinforcing the intention of bringing clarity to the 6 major areas of your life. Okay, so the 3 oracle cards, creative wonderment. It's you wandering up a flight of stairs, following following something that what's the word that you curious? Curious. Following your curiosity. Just kind of going with the flow, wandering up a flight of stairs. You can't see the top of the stairs. Following your curiosity, like creative wonderment are the words on the card. And I feel like that so I feel like this directly connects to the podcast because Neil did bring up something which you're going to hear in the video. I didn't bring it up here. You're going to hear it in the video about guests that will be coming on the podcast, the forthcoming guests. You're going to find that more like clairvoyance, healers, more people like that are going to be drawn in. And I feel like it's like a way for you to get more in touch with your own. Like this creative wonderment, this following the curiosity, that's what that's talking about. Focused intention. Keep your unwavering thoughts, feelings, and actions focused on your target. Do you hear that? My cat's running around like lunatics. Keep your unwavering thoughts, feelings, and actions focused on your target. That directly speaks to what are you waiting for? Waiting to see what? You know what you want, ask for it. That's about focused intention. So unwavering, you know what you want. And it doesn't have to be where you know what you want in the physical so much as you know how you want to feel. You know what you're passionate about. You know what your values are, your boundaries are. That like making that all fit together so that you are in complete alignment. And then once you know what that is, stay focused on that. Don't let it be like, oh, well, I could always do this. No, you can't. You already found your target. Stay with that target. And a win-win outcome is forecast. So no matter which way that goes, it's a win-win either way. Uncle Frank knows where you're going, but regardless of what choice he ends up making, it's going to be the right one. There is no wrong choice. It is a win-win no matter which way you cut it, as far as what are you waiting to see? What do you want? Just go and ask for it.
One thing I want to clarify in here, Danielle's talking about Uncle Frank, and when we first started working together, he would come up and appear. And Uncle Frank is my my late grandmother's brother. So Uncle Frank is Uncle Frank. He's just this fun-loving, amazing man who was in my life and now is on the other side. And Uncle Frank has come up in my career in education, ever since I first went to the first school that I went to. I mean, like, it's just so Uncle Frank. And I think even in a previous session, you said Uncle Frank is with me like every day in my work where I am. So Uncle Frank is tied to my career in education, which is so cool and amazing. So, yeah.
It's funny because how long has Uncle Frank been a part of your sessions, right? But how long did it take us to figure out who he was?
Yes.
I'm like, it's the same guy. I described him to you every session, everything. He's with the lady, describing the lady. And it took a while for us to like finally realize it's Uncle Frank. And it is definitely Uncle Frank. So, all right. So let's see what the tarot cards have to say. Time to make a decision. Literally, first thing out. Time to make a decision. Be clear on what you want and take action. Like that's the message. So this couldn't be any clearer. You know how they repeat themselves? This is it. This whole reading is the next card. You know exactly what to do.
Oh,
It's like they're not letting up. Don't allow bumps in the road to hinder your progress. Clear up communication problems with others. So this is all the same. To me, it feels like the same message, just in different words over and over again, is be clear, make your decision, be clear, you know what to do, you know what you want, clearly communicate that, and don't allow any obstacles to like, slow your progress kind of thing. That was way
amazing.
too direct, way too like, right? All the cards said the same thing. All of them.
Well, we definitely work well together, that's for sure, after all these years. And yes, have gone on to grow lots together, and been certainly a key part of that. Um, and yeah, that's so fun. So, like, definitely anybody who is listening to this and who is curious about working with Danielle, I'll make sure to include her contact information in the show notes so that you can reach out and do a session with Danielle yourself. Ask a question that's been on your mind. Don't be, don't let fear hold you back from what you don't know, or what you seek to understand more, and what you seek to uncover, because it can be kind of a little scary, right? Or a little, like, the unknown definitely has this
Mhm.
fear aspect to it, certainly, but it ends up being really surprising and fun. And I'm so grateful that we were able to do this live, record it live for an episode, which is
Yeah.
super fun, and be able to share kind of what came through. And for anybody listening to this, you can see how really it does come full circle, right? In these readings and in these sessions, which is just more clarification and evidence, that along the way to, right, to just keep moving forward, right? And to
Hmm.
just, there may be bumps in the road, but that's okay. We keep moving forward and we learn as we grow. And so this was fun.
It was. And the last card, so I had just
Oh,
randomly shuffled and pulled a card off the top because they're all saying the same thing. So I just wanted to test that theory and pull another one. And the card that came out was really interesting because you and I have talked about this. Um, There's a meditation behind the 14 card. I think we talked about this, where they're standing at the river, they're standing at the water, and you approach the archangel at the river and sit down next to them. And then you get up and you pass the archangel, you go over the bridge, around the bend. And as you come around the bend, which would be like, it's not very clear in here, but like this is a river behind him, and that is a stone bridge. So like you take the pathway around, you go over the stone bridge, and you see this mountaintop where the light is. That's where that path leads to. And up over here, there is a castle. And you enter the castle in this meditation. So this is all in your mind's eye. You enter the castle, your archangel is there with you, and the answer to your question, you set an intention with a question to be answered, because this is solutions, this is to find a solution to a problem or a question. Um, and when you enter the castle, the answer to your question is found inside that castle. And I've done this meditation, and it was mind blowing, like just completely mind blowing. So that came up. And because we are talking about, the whole waiting to see what, and we're talking about like taking a particular path or not, this would be a good meditation. This was a reminder that this would be a good time for you to do that meditation.
okay. Boy, I have a lot of things that I need to move through and implement. The Oracle card for myself, yes, getting back to doing that, and being in silence, and the yoga, and that meditation. I mean, it really comes back around to just self-love and taking the time for oneself, moving forward and going through life and going through, sometimes we can just get in a process of going through the motions, right? That we have moving on, but we really have to be intentional about taking that time for ourselves because we can easily kind of brush that aside when we're getting up in the morning and we have to get ready and there's lunches to be made and wake up the kid and do this and do that. But, even as I'm picturing in my mind what needs to change immediately for me tomorrow morning, and to sit in silence, to intentionally work on a breath work routine that keeps me grounded. 4-7-8 breathing is where I'm going to picturing myself sitting on my couch doing that. I'm going to pull my oracle card for myself. I'm going to be getting some water. I have to go back to the store and get myself some lemon so I can add it to the water, and kind of take the next couple weeks to kind of move things through, and it gives me a focus and intention to kind of get on that track to move forward. So I just appreciate all of this and you coming on and being able to share this with those that are listening to Spiritual Fertility. And yeah, it's really been fun. So thank you for sharing.
Well, thank you for coming up with this idea. This was such a great idea. I love doing it this way. So thank you. This was fun.
Yeah, ongoing. And I love to, we've kind of gotten into this rhythm, and sometimes we fall away and don't work together as much, because we both have lives, but I'm getting into this like rhythm of monthly sessions. So
And there's something about your next session in your own video. Neil has an idea, but we don't need to talk about it now. Neil has an idea. So when I send you your video, our next sessions might look a little bit different.
oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, right. You
So
get guidance on how to work with me and move forward.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And that's the thing is my sessions with you are so different than my sessions with others. And it's not that I don't tap into others and that they're not getting healing. And it's just that we've been working together for so long. It's like there's all of this stuff. Like I almost was a little nervous to do this because we've been working together for so long. I was afraid that a lot of what we talked about would get lost in context because the prior context wasn't there. But in this case, Neil did really good. Neil got this podcast presentation ready for his podcast. So,
Oh,
Neil.
thanks, Neil. Thanks, Neil, and Uncle Frank, and Archangel Michael coming through as well. And yeah, so for all that are listening, please share this with somebody you think might resonate. For to like, subscribe, share, do all of the things to help us continue to grow the lovely podcast that this has become. And it's so fun for me, and it gives me a great opportunity to sit and talk to folks like Danielle to continue to build our relationship, but also be a vessel to bring her and what she provides to those that are listening or those who may be called to work with Danielle. So thanks so much for sharing, and we will talk again soon.